In today's video, we are going to meet a man who was once invincible. He is famous for humiliating Rome, crossing the Alps with an elephant, and for being the greatest military commander of all time. He also died alone, far from home, hunted by his enemies. So let's find out more about the general who never lost a battle but lost everything. Hannibal Barca was born into a noble Carthaginian family around 247 BCE. His father, Hannibal Barca, was a general who fought in the First Punic War against Rome. And from a very young age, Hannibal swore eternal hatred towards Rome because they had killed his brother Hasdrubal in the war. Hannibal followed in his father's footsteps and became a military leader of Carthage. At that time, Rome controlled the western Mediterranean, while Carthage controlled the eastern part. But both powers were fighting over control of Spain. In 236 BC, Hannibal's father died in battle against Rome. According to tradition, Hannibal sacrificed his brother's remains on an altar, swearing revenge against Rome. When he was just 26 years old, Hannibal led an army to conquer Spain and make it a Carthaginian province. The new province would provide food, soldiers, and wealth to Carthage, making it stronger than ever before. To secure his position, Hannibal needed to cross the Alps and reach Gaul. However, nobody believed that it could be done. Even Hannibal's own brother thought he was crazy for even trying such a thing. But Hannibal was determined. In 218 BCE, he assembled a massive army that included infantry, cavalry, and war elephants. The goal was to invade Italy through the Alps. Hannibal and his army spent 2 years building roads, bridges, and supply depots along the way. They crossed rivers, mountains, and swamps. Finally, in 216 BCE, Hannibal reached northern Italy. Soon after his arrival, he won his first major victory at the Battle of the Trebia. Hannibal surprised the Romans by crossing the river at night and attacking them in the morning. This victory made him famous throughout Italy. In fact, Roman mothers used their sons' potential deaths at the hands of Hannibal as a warning to keep them in line. But despite these early victories, Hannibal's presence in Italy caused panic in Rome. In response to Hannibal's invasion, Rome assembled a large force under the command of the dictator Gaius, Lucius, and Marcus Junius. Brutus. Their goal was simple: stop Hannibal at all costs. The two armies met at the Trebia River, where Hannibal defeated the Romans again. Then he moved south and set up camp near Lake Trasimene. The Romans decided to attack him here. This battle is known as the Battle of Lake Trasimene. It was one of the worst defeats in Roman history. Hannibal's forces were 3 times smaller than his enemy, but he still managed to defeat them. What made this battle so special was Hannibal's use of cavalry. Usually cavalry was used to chase fleeing enemies or to break through enemy lines, but Hannibal used them from the start of the battle, throwing his cavalry into the middle of the Roman infantry. Surprised by this tactic, the Romans panicked and started running away. Hannibal's cavalry chased them down and slaughtered them. The Romans lost 15,000 men, while Hannibal only lost 800. Hannibal then marched south and laid siege to the city of Syracuse. While he was there, a delegation from Rome came to see him and offered him peace. But Hannibal refused. After finishing his campaign in Sicily, Hannibal returned to his base. There, he received news that his brother Mago was coming to help him. Excited, Hannibal went to meet his brother. But on the way, he got ambushed by a Roman force, led by Marcus Claudius. This battle would later be called the Battle of Cannae. At that point, Hannibal's army was exhausted from a long journey and the previous battles, but his brother Mago arrived just in time to save the day. Together, Hannibal and Mago defeated the Romans. This was Hannibal's greatest victory. The Romans lost 30,000 men, including 2 consuls. Hannibal's army only lost 6,000 men. From that day on, Hannibal became a god in Carthage. People believed that he was chosen by the gods themselves to punish Rome. Hannibal continued to fight in Italy for several years, winning many important battles. Meanwhile, Carthage sent reinforcements to Hannibal, including war elephants. But the Romans were preparing for the final battle. In 203 BCE, the Roman Senate declared that if Hannibal did not leave Italy, they would declare war on Carthage. This gave Hannibal an excuse to leave. Under the cover of night, he slipped past the Roman patrols and retreated to his base. He hoped that by showing his back to the Romans, they would think that he had fled and stopped chasing him. But the Romans didn't. Marcellus led a large force to find Hannibal and bring him back to Rome as a trophy. Hannibal tried to hide, but everywhere he went, the Romans followed him. He fought many battles against them, but eventually his men began to dwindle. Hannibal's war elephants were captured or killed, and soon he was surrounded by Romans. Defeated and without any hope for rescue, Hannibal decided to end his life. Before doing so, he released his men from their oath of loyalty so that they could save themselves. Then he rode his horse into a thicket of spears held by Roman soldiers. Some sources say that Hannibal was captured and taken to Rome, but that's most likely a myth. Anyway, that's how the legend of Hannibal ends. He became a symbol of bravery and military genius, but also of vengeance and ruthlessness. What do you think? Do you know other legends like this one? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to subscribe for more videos about great people from history. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.